You're watching the #1 college television station in the state of West Virginia, BCTV, Bethany College Television, the home of the Bison.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Bison Roundup. I am Carlo Guadagnino. Alongside me is A.J. Brettell. How was your weekend?
It was a good weekend. I got to go to the casino and watch one of my friends fight. You remember Daryl?
Daryl, we had him on the show last year.
Yeah, well, Daryl's a boxer now, and got to go see him fight, and it was a good time. A lot of alumni from the school came, and it was a really good weekend.
Valentine's Day? Did you celebrate with anybody?
No.
Well, you're celebrating with me now. I mean, it's a day later. We could go to Dave Coulier.
That's tonight,
Dave
isn't it?
Coulier.
I don't have a ticket. You got a ticket?
You just need a card.
Oh.
Just bring your ID.
See you tonight then.
Although I don't think I have my Bethany ID. I don't have a ticket either. I hope they accept my
I'm sure everyone knows who you are by now.
All right, well, let's jump into this. Men's basketball.
Yes.
Got a win on Saturday. Lost by 3 to Westminster last Wednesday. Won by 4 this Saturday against Waynesburg. You want to talk about the 3 leading scorers for Bethany and where that puts them in the standings?
Oh, yeah. I mean, both games were very tight games. We're down to the final stretch now, so we're playoff push. Mm-hmm. And once again, Kalik Jones leading the way, leading the charge for the Bison with 19 points. I mean, he's kind of been doing this. He's finally stepped up into that kind of leadership role.
The last 3 games has been him.
So he's really stepped up. Andrew Williams with 17 and Alan Harper with 10, being that support role that we talked about even at the beginning of the year. Able to, come off the bench or wherever he is needed, he's there and he puts up points.
And now they go to Grove City on Wednesday, which I think was our last call.
Yeah, that was
together on game day.
I'll actually be back for the next home game, by the way.
And the Bison, unfortunately, we'll get to that. Okay. But unfortunately, the Bison did not come away with a win.
No.
And that was kind of the end of the first half of the season. So. Yeah. It's a must-win since in the standings it's Grove City, Bethany, and Thomas More tied for second place.
Yeah, and Bethany, I mean, with a win against Grove City, that will bump them up into second. And, I mean, depending on how Thomas More does, which they haven't exactly been too impressive lately, I think that Bethany can solidify that second spot and kind of, like we talked about last time, stay at home until they reach the finals.
Well, and that's kind of the goal, I think, at this point. If you beat Grove City, the only other team you have to play is senior night, which you said you'll be back for.
I'll be back.
This Saturday, February 20th.
Remind me, I got to come to the meeting tomorrow about that.
As we host the 1-15 and 1-22 Washington and Jefferson Presidents. It just sounds good to say that about W&J.
It feels very
good. Look at how good that is. They were way down there at the bottom of the
it feels
screen,
great, but at the same time, it's one of those games where it's like you said, it feels good to say it because we don't exactly like them that much and they don't exactly like us, close rivals. I think that they're going to come in and, I mean, it's like almost like they just want to ruin our season, kind of. And it's possible. Anything is possible.
No.
Okay.
No. Well, Kalik Jones, going for 20. I'm telling you right now.
Okay. Well, hey, we'll get to your player of the game when game day comes around.
All right, let's move on to the women. A little bit of we're on a skid here.
Yes.
In women's basketball, the Bison have lost their last 6, including a 3-point loss to Waynesburg this past weekend. Haley Olenka, really the bright spot of the game.
Continues to put up points. I mean, she had 18 in the game. Her game has been just improving. I mean, like you said, as the season went on and stuff, when they kind of needed a leader, they didn't exactly have the senior role on the team. So I thought it was nice for her to, step up. And she's, like you said, she has been the bright spot.
Well, and as we said last week, right now Bethany sits in 8th place at 6-10 in the conference, 8-15 overall. Right on the cusp. They're in the playoffs right now. A loss to either W&J, who's the second place team in the conference, or a loss on Wednesday to Grove City could result in Bethany kind of falling out of the playoffs. It'll be the first
Yes.
time in a couple years, I think, 3 or 4 years, that the Bethany Bison, on both sides, men and women, have made the playoffs, and that's in jeopardy right now unless something can get they can get back on track, I guess.
I mean, I think that they just have to kind of stay calm. I mean, stay focused. It is depressing. I mean, it's upsetting to lose 6 games in a row and think, like, holy crap, we're still in the playoffs at this point. Like, if they make it there, anything can happen from that point. So I think that it comes down to, like, these next practices before they do go to Grove City. I think that they just have to settle down a little bit and say the past is in the past. 2 games left. Let's really run this thing.
That being said, those games will be Wednesday. I believe the first game starts at 7. Is the women's game, and then the men's game will follow. And then W&J will be here on February 20th for senior night, on senior day. So those games are very crucial for both programs here at Bethany.
Oh, yes, definitely. I'm looking forward to 2 good games from both the men and the women. Hopefully that all goes well and we see them both in the playoffs.
1-22.
I'm just saying.
I like to remind people, W&J is 1-22 in basketball, so just putting that out there. Let's move on to baseball, where W&J is not 1-22. Thomas More predicted to win the PAC. Bethany predicted to finish 7th. The last time Bethany was picked kind of around this area was the last time the team made the tournament, which was 2 years ago. Being around the guys at practice a couple weeks ago, it's a different feel. Yeah. Everybody the pitchers, everybody's getting healthy. I got hit with a couple baseballs, so hitting wise, they're doing all right. So.
That's good. I mean,
and they got that nice new beautiful field.
That was my next statement.
Well, that's your neck of the woods.
I mean, any sport, it doesn't matter what you play. I mean, when you get a new facility, it kind of gives you a little more to play for, I mean, I'm sure the first home game, when they get out there, everyone's going to be a little more pumped up because, it is a new field and you want to start out on the right foot on it and you don't want to lose your first game at home.
Well, and then up on the softball diamond, Bethany is the preseason number 2.
Yes.
After hosting the tournament last year and then losing in Game 3 to Thomas More. Thoughts?
I mean, the softball team has been tough. I mean, the whole time I've been here at Bethany, the softball team is really, Coach Forresty, I mean, she really does a great job with the girls. And, I mean, they've had some leaders on the team that have been leaders since their freshman year. And it's nice to see them in their final days.
Last year and the young people that are filling up for them. I mean, there's a couple. I mean, you got Cassie Weiss that has really kind of taken over pitching, and then obviously you have Bosley, the senior catcher, behind the plate. So it's going to be a very interesting season.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to another great season, and I do think you could see Bethany hosting again.
Oh, I think we know exactly who the final is going to be. Right? If I had to guess right now, it's going to be Thomas More versus Bethany, and hopefully it's here because I don't want to drive to Kentucky to watch that.
Unfortunately, I might have to catch that one on TV.
On the TV.
Yes.
But we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back for PTI.
Yes. My favorite.
Yeah.
We get to just butt heads.
Yeah. We getting M&Ms. What's going on? M&Ms? No, he doesn't get any M&Ms. His union rep gets the M&Ms for him. But we'll be back.
Okay.
Hey, this job looks perfect. It says you need people skills?
Check.
Driver's license?
Check.
And a high school diploma. You've got one of those, right?
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
I got that.
You are good to go.
Take that first step towards a better future. Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
Kids will spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later.
2 minutes twice a day. They have the time.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. This is a serious problem, but one we can solve. Visit feedingamerica.org to help. Together we can solve hunger. Together we're feeding America.
Hey, Hard, what's this? That's my resignation. You're resigning? Why? You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately. That's why I'm ready to quit. Oh, I forgot. I'll do better. Please don't quit on me.
Don't let your heart quit on you. Get your uncontrolled high blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Bison Roundup. I am Carlo Guadagnino alongside A.J. Brettell. Well, not alongside anymore. He's across the table from me. This is when we pretty much take the gloves off, and I tell A.J. he's dumb, and he yells at me and says that I'm not intelligent. So
The fun part, basically.
Yeah, well, I mean, what do you expect from a Pitt fan? I mean, he's gonna talk his nonsense, but let's jump into it. First question on the day: will the Penguins make the playoffs? I'll let you go first.
Thank you.
Of course.
Right now, it's hard to say. I mean, growing up watching the Pens play and a lot, we're Pittsburgh area, so they're on TV all the time. We've seen a lot of dominant teams. I mean, we've seen the emergence of Sid the Kid and, Letang, and a lot of people playing really well. And now Phil Kessel, they have a lot of guns playing really great hockey right now. Yeah, they have a lot of people. I don't think, though, this is the same team that we have seen growing up. The new coach, I think he's doing a good job. But, if you look at their division, the Capitals and Rangers are kind of, they're up there. They're kind of like the two figureheads of the division. And then you have the Islanders, the Devils, and the Pens all right there neck and neck. I think the Pens play today against the Panthers.
They do.
So I think that they're going to have to pick up some points against better teams now at this point if they think that they will make the playoffs. But at this point, I just do not think that they're playing good enough to have a playoff push.
First off, there's nobody playing better hockey than Sidney Crosby right now.
That is true. I will give you that.
The kid's playing like the kid. He's not playing like the old man that he was earlier in the season when he couldn't score. He couldn't find the back of the net. You have Letang healthy. The big problem, we don't have Malkin right now. He's in the injury. But Flowers playing, Marc-Andre Fleury playing out of his mind. There's no way the Penguins don't make the playoffs. The question is, are they going to win the Metropolitan? No. That's out of reach. This Penguins team is going to have to go from way down, on the road. Like we said, the Game 7s are going to have to be not in somebody else's building. The Penguins will make the wild card. They'll probably be the last team in.
You think so?
But I don't see them losing. I don't see them losing enough games to take them out of contention. They're literally 1 point away. Unless you have some intimate hockey knowledge that you'd like to share with me.
No, I don't have any intimate hockey knowledge for you. I don't think, I've been watching a lot of their games, been going to a lot of their games recently. And yes, all those
thanks for the invite, buddy. We're supposed to be
tickets were given to me. Yeah, they weren't my tickets.
Then, you can't be given a give.
Yeah, exactly. Like the Indian gift. It doesn't work out like that. But nonetheless, I don't think, yes, Kid's playing well, or Sid the Kid, but he's playing well.
Yeah, he is.
But I just don't think that, I guess it depends when Malcolm gets back, how he plays. Sometimes coming off an injury, people can come in and not exactly perform because, they still feel a little cautious about how deep they're going to go. So my final answer, no, they're not going to hit it.
Well, then I guess we will see.
Yes.
If I win, if the Penguins make the playoffs, I'll see you at Bubba's.
I'll take you out.
All right.
Cool.
Next, have the Pirates made enough moves in the offseason to to be a contender, I guess?
I'll let you go first this time.
I don't think it was so much the moves that they had to make. They needed, obviously, to find a first baseman. You had Jung Ho, who was working out last week. He's taking infield. He can throw again, which is nice. It's nice to see him, especially as ugly as that injury was to his leg. I didn't think they had to make that many moves. They had to find a first baseman. That was it. You have an outfield. You have a catcher. You have a solid rotation with Garrett Cole and Francisco Lariano probably being your 1-2.
Yes.
Bullpen stayed the same. Really the only big loss is you lose the second baseman, Pittsburgh kid Neil Walker, and you lose Pedro Alvarez. It's really Pedro Alvarez was going to leave regardless.
Yes.
I mean that was going to happen. There was no question. It was more of a question of were they going to trade him or are they just going to let him walk at the end of the year. The surprising move I think for the Pirates was letting Neil leave, or trading Neil away. But no, I think that the Pirates made enough moves that it's going to be for all those people in the Central that spent a bunch of money on these big names. It's going to be. I think they're going to be a little bit upset.
I wouldn't go as far as saying that they wouldn't make playoffs, but I wouldn't exactly deem them as contenders right now for the whole pennant because, I mean, you look like you talked about that division. I mean, we are talking about teams like the Cardinals and the Cubs with the emergence of Madden. I mean, he kind of took over by storm, and now you have the Mets playing well, and you have a lot of teams playing really good baseball.
The National League's getting really tough.
And we saw that last year. And now the Cubs, in the offseason, added Jason Hayward and John Lester. So they pick up another great pitcher. And then it's like, with signings like this, Cardinals don't need to do anything. Cardinals have proven themselves time and time again that they are dominant. They lost a few people, so that hurts them. They didn't exactly replace
Jason Hayward.
Yeah,
that's
and
a pretty big guy to lose.
They lost.
He went from St. Louis to Chicago.
They lost a pitcher to the Red Sox. I forget.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
It was one of their better pitchers, though.
Yeah.
It was a starting pitcher. Yeah.
But I mean, we see the Cardinals every year.
Yeah.
We know where they're going to be. The Cubs and the Pirates are kind of. And if you had said this 5-6 years ago,
people would have
laughed at you. There's no chance that they were going to say the Cubs. You'd say the Cubs and the Pirates are going to be at the top of battling at the top of the division.
Yeah.
You're crazy. And that's exactly what we saw last year. It was St. Louis, Pittsburgh, Chicago, and it ended up being Pittsburgh and Chicago in the playoffs.
And my only last statement about that is my problem is when they get into the playoffs, they seem to get that wild card. We saw Garrett Cole, kind of collapse last year.
Yeah, but look at the pitchers they're
exactly.
running.
That's what I said. Look at the last 3 pitchers they faced. I mean, they faced Wainwright, Bumgarner, and Arena.
All right, let's move on to Louisville and their shenanigans. We won't go into what they did, but their shenanigans with some females.
Yes.
And some money was exchanged and whatnot, but for recruits. So I guess I will tell everybody what just happened. That is what happened. Louisville self-imposed this weekend a postseason punishment for this year, kind of Syracuse-esque from last season when they got in trouble for some recruiting violations. The question is, do you feel that the self-imposed punishment is enough?
I would have to go out and say yes. I think it is enough. I think it would be a little different if he didn't do anything about it because then you continuously have problems.
You're talking about Rick Pitino.
Yes, I'm talking about Pitino. Yes, my bad. So he comes in, he declares the self-imposed ban for the postseason. And I understand a lot of people are like, okay, well, he did this because the NCAA would come down much harder. So it's like, oh, hey, look, I did the right thing. I was ethical. But at the same time, they're still playing good basketball. And, I mean, he easily couldn't have done that because they're ranked, 13th right now?
13th right now.
So, I mean, we're talking about a team that will make the big dance and have a chance to go deep into the tournament.
And they won't be there.
Yeah. And instead, he made the executive decision to say, listen, you guys messed up. I'll step up, and we got to go down together. But at the same time, their level of play hasn't dropped since then. I mean, they're still winning games. And I just think that it was the right thing to do. I mean, I still think if the NCAA wanted to do something, I think they'll still do something.
All right, let's be real. We all saw what happened last year in Syracuse when Jim Boeheim came out and said we're not going to go to the postseason, knowing that he had the top recruiting class, and then this year had the top recruiting class lined up again. So the NCAA watched that happen, and they kind of gave him a slap on the wrist. And I think Boeheim was suspended for the first.
Fines, yeah.
There were some fines. There was a suspension there. They're all right. Back-to-back top 12 recruiting classes. And you have North Carolina, who has this academic scandal that just kind of hangs over their head. And they seem to be all right in the ACC.
Yeah, they beat Pitt the other day.
Since I believe Louisville is right behind UNC for the top of the ACC on that side of it.
Yes.
And just so I gotta throw this out there, isn't it beautiful to see Duke struggling this year?
It is.
Before we go back into this, isn't it beautiful to see Duke struggle?
It is kind of nice. I mean, it's something you don't see often, so when it does happen, it's a sight to see.
Is it enough? No. Is the NCAA going to do anything about it? No, because it's going to be the same type of thing. I think the biggest point that comes out of this is look who's right behind Louisville, the only team that in college athletics that can say they've ever really been come down or had the NCAA drop down on them, and that's SMU, who's 19-4 right now.
Yeah.
So, moving on. James Harrison, 37 years old, but by the time the season starts, he will be 38. Should James Harrison retire?
I don't think so. I say give the man one more year because you look at the stats he had this past year. I mean, there's not many 37-year-olds out in the NFL doing what he's doing. And at the same time, everyone talked about how great the Steelers were. And although I'm not a Steelers fan, I will say they were scary there towards the end of the season. And if it wasn't due to injuries, they possibly could have won the entire thing. So I think you bring back a healthy Ben, a healthy Bell, you just keep Brown doing what he's doing. And I mean, then James Harrison, you bring him back as that leader in the locker room, and I'm sure he'll continue to do what he's been doing on the field. And I think that the Steelers have a true shot to win the whole thing. And I mean, as we saw at Peyton, I mean, depending what happened, but
Peyton's not coming back.
It's nice to see.
And for all you people, the Dallas fans that I've heard say Peyton's going to come and win Jerry Jones the title, you got a better chance of me and AJ coming down to Dallas and being on your team than Peyton Manning joining your team.
Yes.
So,
but the only thing to say about it is you saw how Steeler fans like for their legends to go out on top, and you saw what they did with Jerome Bettis when he kind of went out on a Super Bowl ring. I think Harrison comes back one more year, tries to get a ring, and then walks away with some fame.
I'm gonna argue your one more year with a little personal side. I'm not taking one more year. James Harrison's body can't take one more year of playing in the NFL. Although, you know, the guy is a freak. We see him on Instagram and everything, you know, just lifting cars and, you know, having lunch underneath them and whatnot. But, you know, the numbers have declined steadily in his 13-year career. He had one interception last year. Obviously, the most famous interception everybody remembers James Harrison for is,
Super Bowl.
You know, he still needs a gas mask anytime he walks in Arizona. But the Super Bowl, obviously. Yes. And then he forced 4 fumbles, didn't recover any of them. There were some big fumbles when he forced them. 5 sacks, which dropped from last year, and the 27 solo tackles and 13 assisted, which from his best numbers, which were in the 70s to 80s. He's not worth the $1.5 million a year that you're going to pay him, even if he has been in the league for 13 years and you have all these guys coming back. You need to give another linebacker. It's time to move some of these new guys in and let them play. Lastly, what your opinion, I guess, what do you think, did you think All-Star Weekend was entertaining, I guess?
I think there were some aspects that were interesting about the All-Star Weekend.
Well, obviously, the dunk contest.
The dunk contest. Awesome. I mean, that was...
It was about time it came back.
ESPN's still talking about it. I mean, this is down for the ages. I mean, this is right there with them.
You know, did I see Kevin Hart beat somebody in a three-point
contest?
Yes,
he did.
Draymond Green, I believe it was.
I mean, it's Draymond Green, but still, it's Kevin Hart.
And then, you know, I seen Steph Curry. He's no longer the three-point champion. He's no longer the three-point champion. It is the other guy from Golden State. Klay Thompson got him. And you really wanted to talk about the game, though.
Yeah, the All-Star game. I mean, okay, I understand. You have people complaining about...
Wait, you're talking about this one that happened this past Sunday?
Yeah, where all the records are broken.
No. It wasn't an All-Star game. It was a Kobe farewell game.
Yeah, okay, it was a Kobe farewell game, but I personally thought Kobe gets MVP automatically because the whole season has been,
it's all about Kobe.
Let's give Kobe his farewell hugs and kisses and ship him off in a golden boat. But at this point, we did see some good play. But I mean, I understand people are worried about getting hurt. You know, I mean, it's a tight race in the West. But we saw numbers that broke every record in the All-Star game. The West scored 197 points.
Yeah.
I mean, they were 3 points shy of 200 points. And they shattered every scoring record. I mean, yes, it's cool to see like the dunks and stuff happen, but that's what the dunk contest is for. That's what the three-point contest is for. I mean, I just for once would like to see an all-star game that means something, and that's why I enjoy the baseball all-star game, because it actually means something.
I mean, but do we really see defense in the Pro Bowl?
No, and that's what I'm saying. I think it all needs to change. I think all-star games in general need to change.
The two sports you compare, I mean, baseball, everybody plays because there's something at stake. Both divisions or conferences want to, or leagues, they want to have home field advantage. But when I see an all-star group like that get together, it's one time a year. I want to see them score 200 points. I wish they'd have scored 300 points.
Okay, but you're telling me it wouldn't have been nice to,
No,
see
it wouldn't have been
Curry.
nice to see any defense. Like,
okay, so
I don't want to see any type of
Steph
defense.
Curry
That's why
goes
it's an
up for a
all-star
three,
game.
and LeBron comes out of nowhere and just puts him through the roof on a block.
Listen,
I mean, a little bit of defense can go a long way.
You didn't have defense in the all-star games 5 years ago when Shaq was out there scoring 100 in them, and everybody, let's give him the MVP. So why does it matter now?
Because it gets boring, though. I think I didn't watch the entire game.
We gotta go to break before I come across the table with this guy, or he hits me with this cup here. So we're gonna go to a quick commercial break, and we'll be back right after this. I just don't understand why you would tell him. Why? Why didn't you don't want to see 200 points in the game?
I did not watch the entire game because it's the same thing over and over. It's a oop, it's a behind the back pass, it's a shot from half court. I mean, it's the same exact stuff you see nonstop for 4 straight quarters.
You hurt my feelings.
When I was 6, my mom had a stroke. I'm Paul George. Learn the signs of a stroke fast. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. Spot a stroke fast.
My new mom and I have a lot in common.
The great outside.
We both love the outdoors.
So shiny.
That's not a flower. We both love geology.
Oh, look. An igneous one.
That's not a rock. And she knows a lot about wildlife.
A labradoodle.
That's not a dog. Hanging out has been kind of fun.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
The odds of winning 7 Grammy Awards? 1 in 1.4 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I'm Toni Braxton. Learn more at autismspeaks.org.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we don't always agree, but hey, guess what? Unlike you, I'm walking out here with M&Ms, and before we close, I want my M&Ms. Come on. Hey, Professor Sprowls, M&Ms, please.
I'll give them to you after the show.
No. We've tried that before. I know that doesn't work out.
Hey, count your blessings. We got them last week. I guess that's good enough.
He didn't bring any M&Ms. Look at him now. Now he's fessing up. He didn't bring the M&Ms.
I'll get donuts.
Oh.
Yeah, you promised some other people donuts. I don't see that happening either.
All right,
I can take donuts.
Pretty good show. What would you
Not
think?
a bad show. Other than, our little blooper at the very beginning.
Well, hey, it's they overlap each other. I don't know what it is. Sometimes
it's okay. Yeah.
It's old age. It's called Sometimers.
You have game day. You have roundup. It's all one and the same.
They're
right?
really the same show. we just do one in the studio and we do one live there.
Yeah.
Who should we thank?
Everybody.
Everybody. That's,
we have a new crew today.
We have a whole new crew.
So thank you to the new guys.
The whole new crew.
Well done today.
Lexi Naples on Snapchat.
Yes.
She helped us out. And make sure you tune in to Lexi and Katie's show, which is the Bison Box Office. Lauren Simpson has a radio show, her and Yates. When is that? Thursday morning at 9 o'clock. You can download the Bethany app.
Wake up, have a cup of coffee.
Wake up, have a cup of coffee, and listen to Lauren and Yates. And thank you, Eric, even though you didn't bring any.
I'll make up with donuts.
Yeah, I believe that when I see it.
Saturday night game, guys.
Saturday afternoon, 2 o'clock for the women's game, 4 o'clock for the men's game. You can join us at 1:45.
Against what was the record again?
1 in 22 WNJ presidents. So other than that, next week.
Yeah, I'll see you Saturday.
Yep.